Hey, welcome back to Cooking with Dave. And you're probably thinking, what? 2 videos in 2 days in a row? What are you, crazy? Anyway, tonight I wanted to do something a little bit different. I'm going to head to the south of the border. I'm going to make my version of arroyos con palo. And I'm going to do the front end of this dish on the stovetop, and I'm not going to turn on the oven because it's pretty warm in here. So I'm going to do everything on the stovetop, although you can do this in the oven. So I'm going to get started. I've already done a couple of things ahead of time. So I'm going to ask my lovely camera person to scoop on in. What I've done here is I've already pre-browned the chicken. What I've done here is this is a whole chicken. Typically in this dish, you want to use legs or chicken thighs. They have a lot more gelatinous to the meat. So it actually lends itself better into the cooking part of it. But since I'm using a whole chicken, because my bride likes the chicken breast and not so much the dark meat, I've already put those together. But what I did here though, and this is the most important part, is when you're browning the meat, brown the chicken breast slightly less than you brown the dark meat, such as the thigh and the legs, so that they get an opportunity to cook a little bit more. So, and the end result, and you're going to see this when I get done here, they all come out together. So let's get started. But wait, what? What time is it? Really? You probably were thinking, Dave doesn't have any cooking wine yet. So let's get that going. Here we go. We're drinking a lovely wine here this evening. It comes from producer. His name is Peter Vella. He does a really great box wine. If you believe that, I got a bridge to sell you. So here we go. This is the pan that I'm gonna start with. I'm gonna move the wine out of the way so we don't go all over the floor. This is the pan that I use to brown the meat in. One of the things that I love about cooking this dish, one of the secrets is that this is chopped bacon. What I've done is I rendered the bacon down slightly for the fat. What I like about the fat is that it cooks at a higher temperature, so I can sear the chicken really well. And now what we're going to do is we're going to dump in the vegetables. The vegetables that I'm using tonight are onion, red and green bell pepper. And then I have a Italian sweet pepper, which is a yellow pepper. I didn't have any jalapeno. If you like it a little bit hotter, this is the time to add the jalapeno in. So let's get started by putting in all the vegetables into the frying pan. As you can see, I'm cooking with cast iron. That's one of the favorite ways that I like to cook. It's how I learned how to fry chicken. My grandmother taught me that. So what we're going to do now is, since the oil is pretty hot, we're going to let this stir around and just brown this chicken a little bit on each side. Get a little parched here. We better get some cooking wine in. As you can see, my trusty camera person here, or bride as I like to call her, is spot on. So we want to move these around until they get a little bit on the translucent side. I'm not going to quite cook them that far today because, you know, we're doing this video and I'm only here all afternoon. I'm sure you people want to go to bed at one certain point or another. Okay, as you can see now, we've got a nice blend of onion and bell pepper. And it's sizzling nicely. The next thing we're going to add in now is one of the key ingredients in arroyos con palo, which is the rice. It's a straight cup of white rice. You don't need to soak this rice to get the starches out of it. Actually, it's better if you don't because it cooks better that way. We're going to keep the heat up a little bit hot. We're going to dump the rice in. And now what we're going to do is we're going to stir fry the rice all the way around and mix all the vegetables together. Doesn't that look tasty, huh? My camera person doesn't laugh as much when she's recording. Normally she's laughing a little bit by this point, but now she's just smiling and she's trying not to laugh out loud. It's nothing but a big joke. It's nothing but a big joke around here. Okay, so now what we're trying to accomplish now with this rice is we want it to get to what they call Tweety. I know, not like the bird, the one that Sylvester chased around in the cartoon. I'm talking about Tweety, which means the rice is going to start to go from a bright color to an opaque color. That's called Tweety in the industry, which means that we're getting it good and hot, because in a few seconds here, I'm going to pour some salsa on top, and this thing's going to explode pretty well in terms of the amount of steam that's going to come off of it. Remember, we talked about steam and smoke yesterday. You know, steam and smoke are really good when you're cooking. Not so good when your house is on fire, but specifically when you're cooking. I like to shake that around a little bit. Better get a little cooking wine here, because God knows I'm getting a little parched here. I say that a lot, don't I? I say parched a lot. Well, darn it, that's the only good thing I can come up with. So, here we go. Now, I have no affiliation with this company, Hernandez, but this is the salsa that I like to use. I typically like to use a stronger salsa or more of a spicy salsa, because it translates nicer into this dish. If you don't like spicy food, my suggestion is any salsa will do. We have 1 cup of rice that has gone into this now. This is 7 ounces. So what I want to do is 1 cup of salsa to about 1 to 1.5 cups of liquid. So right now, as you can see, there's the steam I was talking about. Let's mix this all around. That's not quite as much salsa as I want. I have this salsa here that I made myself, so I'm just going to put just a spoonful on top of that. And we're going to mix it around. I'm going to put my glove back on because this cast iron is hot as all get out. Whew, boy, that steam is making me thirsty. There my bride is laughing at me again. You can't see that in the camera, but I know she is. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put chicken stock in. Again, I have no affiliation with this company here, Pacific Foods, but they really do make great chicken stock. I like to make my own, but typically this is pretty inexpensive. I'm pouring it in this can only because, not because of the measurement, because there's still some stuff in the can I want to get out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour in the chicken stock into that. I'm going to put a little bit more chicken stock into, which is going to come to about 1 cup. As you can start to see though, and you'll pan in here a little bit, that you'll start to see it's now starting to cover the rice up. You want to add a little bit of water as well, about 1/2 cup of water. The chicken stock is nice when it cooks, but because the amount of fat in the chicken stock and the amount of fat in the chicken, it makes the rice way sticky. So now what we're going to do is we're going to smooth this around to make sure nothing is sticking on the bottom. I can see that that feels all really nice. We have a nice color to that, the kind of the red color that I'm looking for. I'd like just a little bit more. A little bit more water in there. Now that we have that all put together, we're going to add the chicken back in. You just want to take the chicken and just very gently put it right on top, just like that. Just drop it in nicely. You don't got to get too crazy. You can see we're really boiling here pretty well now. And I'm going to turn that down in a few seconds. So I'm going to turn it down right now, as a matter of fact. There's a little bit of juice that we see left over here from that. Let's put that in there, because that's the stuff that makes it taste darn good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to let that, we got it to a full boil. I'm going to bring in the trusty cast iron lid. I've got it turned down to low now. So now what we want to do is we want to let this sit on the oven for about the next 35 to 40 minutes. All the liquid is going to reduce down, so take that down to low. If you want, During the wintertime, I typically put it in the oven, 350 degrees. You leave it in there for about 30 to 45 minutes. At the end of this video, or the next video, I'm going to show you how we finish this dish. Unfortunately, I don't have the ability to stop the video and then restart again, so I have to do this in 2 parts. Isn't that lucky? So here we go, a little cooking wine. We're going to cover this thing up, just like that, just like that. So we're ready to sit on low. Cheers to you. We'll see you in about 30 minutes.